Yeah, you do, Tank Lip. This is a real passionate blog to me. Actually, my fifth attempt now. There was some issues that I guess either Facebook needed to tweak, or I don't know, having the phone hooked up to other devices caused it to, like, the videos to lose audio. So I'm up against some obstacles. Like, this is a really passionate subject for me. You know, B, I think I'm the man to do this blog, to be the voice of such a complicated situation. Okay, I don't think this is a topic just anyone should touch. It's a thin ice, kind of thin line kind of thing. It's a heated topic to begin with. One needs to be careful in a way not to choose sides, because, like, if the goal is ultimately to sidestep the war rather than perpetuate it, you have to be really careful how you handle certain things. So I think my ability to articulate just any given subject, and then, even complicated things, I could be the guy to be the voice for this subject, or one of the many voices that will speak on this. But, like, my goal is to sidestep the war, so somehow be a voice where we can deal with the particular subject, but not in a way where it fuels more anger. So, like, I think I'm that guy. I had some really relevant things to speak about. I was feeling real passionate about the subject, and I was going to do the blog yesterday, but I was, like, just not up to par myself. I'm like, you know what, something that I'm so passionate about, let me wait for a day when I'm, like, feeling right. Unfortunately, today, not really feeling all right. There ain't enough coffee for the shit I'm going through. I'm doing a little bit better than yesterday, and, like, for the sake of just not losing my passion, or, like, the complicated thoughts, like, in my mind, I'm like, I know exactly how I want to approach this blog, and I feel like the longer I wait, like, I'll lose that. So even though I'm not up to par today, like, I'm gonna attempt this. So bear with me. But first of all, since this is the fifth attempt, okay, because of audio issues, someone that's tuning in right now, text a comment and let me know, is there audio? Please? I'm asking really nicely, like, just let me know, because I don't want to go 20 minutes into something so passionate to find out it's lost. I don't have it in me to do this blog twice. Like, it's just one time, you get it or you don't. So I'm really trying to confirm that there's audio, and I'm on the fifth video. No one is leaving text to let me know if there's audio, so I'm just doing, like, sitting here pointless, with no audio, doing, Charlie Chaplin, crazy moves with my face, to try to, like, spell shit out, just to ask y'all, is there audio? That's what I was doing. So if there's audio now, you know what I was lipping to you. Jason, of all people, Jason Lip. So I know someone's tuning in. It tells me one person's here with me right now. Whoever you are, I know obviously you'd rather lurk without revealing who you are. Just text me a comment right now on the feed and let me know that there is audio so I can move forward. Or is it funny to you that I can't get the blog out because I refuse to do the blog until I know there's audio? I need confirmation that there is audio right now on this particular feed. Someone, please let me know. The one person in the room, please. Just a text on a comment. Boom, 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 boom. A comment letting me know. More duck face? Oh, yeah. Oh, me like. Look, I don't want to muck up an important blog with all of this stupid bullshit I'm doing. Now, whoever's tuning in, can you please let me know, is there audio? Just a comment, like, right now, so I can move into the blog. Please let me know, is there audio? Whoever's tuning in right now, there's one person, I know you're in here, I just don't know who you are. Please just write a comment / a text, whatever you want to call that, on this feed. Let me know, is there audio? Yes or no? Yes, there's audio. That's all you have to type. I won't bother you after that. It's a very passionate blog, and I don't want to waste it and find out that the audio is off. I just don't have it in me because I barely have it in me to do the blog on good terms right now. Because I'm not my best right now. Alright, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do the blog. And if there's no audio, y'all will never get this blog. So hopefully, God willing, there's audio. I think this is something y'all should hear. So, Korryn Gaines. Alright, this video touched me. Okay, it really actually affected me. Because I could feel her anger when she was in that car on that Maryland street with her kid in the back seat, and the cops were basically letting her know that because of some issue with her tag, they were going to be taking the car and also possibly her to jail. And she was informing them that she's already in some issue where she's suing their police department or the government, either on some other shit or something regarding her car. That issue had obviously really angered her. Her anger as a black woman in what she feels is society and the white man doing black people wrongly. Okay, she was obviously very passionate, and from her anger, I'm not going to talk in ways to say, because I don't know the full story, was she right or wrong to have the anger, but maybe in a certain extent I will touch on that. Her anger is like a very important part of this issue and this blog. This is not to take a side on white versus black or anything like that. Just naturally, I would be very careful to do that as a white man. I'd be very careful to do that as a person that seeks peace and love and better situations for society and for the world. This video, like, her anger was like, you could just feel it. Like, it didn't only become her or was her. Like, you felt it. Like, watching it, like, it was gut-wrenching. It was heart-wrenching for me. And again, that is not to take a side on if I agree with her being so angry, because I don't know the whole story. All I can tell you is that an overall, like a more macro, like, I'm going to examine the micro layers to this and the macro, but like, just like on a macro real quickly, like, I could just really feel and like absorb. Her anger was so much that it affected me. Like, I absorbed some of it watching that video, which is, I guess, where the passion, like, I guess, originated from, where I'm like, this is going to be something that Tank Lip blogs about. Like, I'm going to touch on this somehow, some way. So just like a little background for y'all that know the story, just get you going with me here. And for y'all that may not know any of the story, so like, I guess, like, just from watching that was like a 20-minute video of her with the kid in the back seat, the cops messing with her and all that. Like, what I gather is that, or from what she was telling the police, okay, is that she was already in some shit where she's suing the police department or the government. And, from the beginning of the video, the officer asking for her license and, her registration, she asked for some, like, delegation of, like, authority. She was asking the officer for, like, things he didn't even know what it was, that he couldn't provide to her, and he was saying, like, he doesn't even know, like, he wants to work with her, but, like, he doesn't even, I'm being honest, ma'am, like, I don't even really know what that is. Like, please help me understand, what is this delegation or order of authority or whatever you're asking me to provide? Because she started right in with them, you know, saying, like, she doesn't know who they are. He showed his license, said what his name was, his badge or whatever, explained why he was stopping her. Now here's where I'm going to start getting into some of the thin ice shit. Like, he didn't know her. And if he did, it was because he dealt with her, like, on some previous matters. But he didn't get a job as a policeman to harass and stalk and haunt Korryn Gaines' life. Like, it's just a circumstance, a predicament, like, he fell into as, and that's what I believe, as an officer that was stopping her, because I think her tag actually wasn't even a tag. It was a note, what I believe from the facts that I have of the story, said something like, I'm suing the government, or I'm anti-government. That was what she had on her license plate instead of a regular license plate. So part of me is inclined to believe, like, whether or not, like, she was already into some shit with the police or government, and so angered at them that at this point she was looking for trouble. So that's just one thing. Like, this happened in Maryland, but, like, if I'm to be honest, on one tangent of the story, and my synopsis tangent of the story, I think this would have, if Korryn Gaines was in California, the same predicament or circumstance or type of interaction with the police would have gone down in California. I think it would have gone down in Oklahoma, New Mexico, the state of Washington. I think it would have gone down in Washington, D.C. It would have gone down in New York. It would have gone down in Florida the same way. Like, and I think that's part of the problem, is Korryn Gaines had a vendetta. Like, if you understand, like, when a person has a vendetta with something, like, they're almost looking, like, she was a renegade, a vigilante, like a woman on a mission. She got stopped by them, but she was just waiting for them. I mean, she basically even said, like, I'm ready for you. Today will be the day. You're going to have to take me out in a body bag. You're going to have to kill me right in front of my kid. Even said to her kid on video, in that video of her in the car. Not the day of the shooting where she actually got shot by police, but the day where she got stopped for the tag. Said to either her son or her daughter in the back seat, you let them know that they stole your mother. She was already ready, such a renegade, such a vendetta. She was ready to die for her cause. Whatever, and we'll try to find out through our theories and approach here what could have been her cause. Like, what was her motives? What was this really all about? Because I don't have the entire story. Let's find it out together. Like, I'm here talking. Y'all may know something that I don't know. I'm not claiming here to know it all. Just going by what I know so far. And I don't even think this has hit media yet. Like, real media, like the news on TV, the way it's going to. I think this is going to be a real big story. But regardless, it touched me, so we're going to go into it. By the way, we have three or two people in the room tuning in. Thank you. Please, stay tuned here. We're going to try to get through this story. But that's an important part, that there was a vendetta. So while the police stopped her, she was baiting them. She didn't even have on a tag. She had a note to the government, to the police, and then wanted to get mad at them for stopping her because of that provocation. She didn't have a proper tag on her car. It seems that she probably wasn't supposed to even be driving a car, or there was issues with her license or her tag. Like, she wanted them to find her, but she was making it easy. She was playing like a Red Rover game, or like cat and mouse game with them, and like throwing them bait, and because of the vendetta, wanting, like claiming, she didn't want to be bothered by this, and harassing them as they're just trying to do their job. Okay, she really wanted the police. She was ready for them. She had this all planned out in her head. I believe she had a vendetta with the police. Now, I don't know what happened, if her brother got shot and killed, her uncle. In that video of her in the car, she mentions to them how something about her uncle, her brother, her sister, all the other, black people that the white police are harassing and doing wrong and this and that. Like, so who knows what exactly provoked this situation where she's in some process of suing the government or suing the police department. I don't know about that part of the story yet, so I can only, hypothesize, But in that situation, like that occurred, I'm arriving based on the anger that I felt or absorbed from her. Like, I felt it. I feel sad for Korryn Gaines that she was so angry that she couldn't let it go. Because that is a way out of this, when you let go of that anger. And she let it consume her. That turned into like evil energy to the point where she was willing to sacrifice leaving her kid, leaving this world and leaving her kid for this world without her, for her cause. That is how angered she was. And for that, I am just sad and affected by the whole situation, that her anger got to that point. I don't know what started all this, but from the point of that video, and again, that's not the video of her actually getting shot and killed. That's of that traffic stop where like 2 or 3 police officers are basically trying to give her a chance, ask for her license, identification. She didn't work with them. And they were pleading with her, listen, ma'am, we're trying to work with you. We don't want to kill you. We're not against you. But she had that vendetta. She was ready to give them those problems when and if they stopped her. And based on what I know about why they stopped her, because she had a note in the place of an actual tag or license plate. It was like a note, like, I'm suing the police department, or dear government, I'm anti-government. Like, she didn't have what she was supposed. There are rules and laws to society that, whether we like them or not, we're still part of the society. We have to go by them. There are plenty of people that piss me off, and the impulse is there. I might want to punch them in the fucking face, but I don't, because I know there are consequences, that the cops will get called, and then I go to jail, and then I really lose my freedom. So, like, there are just ways to society, like rules and laws. You have to go by them. One of them is, if you drive a vehicle, you have to have like a registered license plate. You can't have a suspended license. And so instead of a license plate, a tag that she should have had, she furthermore was baiting them and had a note like about being anti-government. It's like, hey, yeah, they found you, but were you looking for it? Were you asking for them to find you? Because eventually it's going to happen. You drive along long enough with a tag that's not legitimate, and furthermore, it's something against the police, they're going to stop and ask you some questions. She was looking for it. She had a vendetta. Whatever caused that vendetta, one truth I really believe is she had a vendetta with the police. And when they were going to stop her, she was ready for them, and she was going to give them hell, and even said something about their day is going to come in hell. She was ready. She was looking for every reason to make a simple traffic stop drawn out, to the point where they had to pull her out of the car and take her away from her kid and arrest her. And then I think that, use that as propaganda for why she was going to resist them on the day where she actually did get shot. And so again, y'all, this is a really thin ice topic because we are already, there's Black Lives Matter, there's a lot of heated race stuff, blacks versus whites, and this is very dangerous for any person to touch on. I just think that I kind of had, and I don't really think I'm doing that well today. Again, I didn't think this was the best day for me to do this, but I didn't want to lose the thoughts. I really think I have the uncanny ability to touch on each tangent of this that makes the whole story in a way that I can get real opinionated on it, but at the same point stay neutral. I'm not anti-black. I'm not anti-white. I'm for peace, for a better world where there's no fighting or race issues. Was most affected by her anger. It's not about right or wrong. Again, I don't know what provoked her anger in the first place. But what I do know is I really felt her anger and was touched and affected. It made me sick 2 nights ago when I could feel how angry she was. I identified with it. I've had moments where shit has made me so angry where, like, I have had a vendetta with things. And, part of the problem is, shit was real personal for her. And if she could separate that those particular cops that showed up that day were just guys that happened to be policemen that one day decided to join the police force. They didn't have a vendetta with Korryn Gaines. They weren't trying to make some shit personal with her. But her anger was so strong, she personalized it. That is a big part of the problem. And then what happens is these stories and why shit gets out of hand in society is people take a story like this, and this is where this blog gets real important, and we can make history right now, y'all, and make change. See, Korryn Gaines and her situation, those 3 cops right there, she was taking it, she personalized it. Her vendetta was, yes, blacks versus whites, and blacks versus police, and blacks versus white policemen, and women versus men. Remember in the car, she's saying, look at this, 3 males for 1 female. She had a lot of vendettas that were real strong in her heart and real personal. But those officers that day just fell into the predicament. They were doing their job. When they joined the Maryland Police Department, they didn't say one day, we're going to fucking haunt Korryn Gaines. We're going to find her on the street. She's just going to so happen to have an anti-government thing on her tag. They didn't know any of that when they fucking signed up to be policemen. They just fell into a predicament where a woman had such a strong vendetta because of her anger that she could never let go. And I'm not even going to dare to say if it was misguided. There's a lot of fucked up shit in society, so I won't go there. That's where I think I'm the right guy for this blog, is I'm not going to say her anger is misplaced or displaced or she shouldn't have it. There's a lot of fucked up shit against blacks. But in that predicament, she made it real personal with people that really weren't really making it personal against her. So she was actually very narcissistic, to be honest. And I bet you experts that will later come on the media and the news on TV, they will let you know, people that have far more academic background experience than me, they're going to let you know that she did have some type of mental illness from this anger, and that it became narcissistic, that she could be this renegade vigilante that took this vendetta to the point she did. This is where y'all have a responsibility, okay? Is the same way if Korryn Gaines didn't personalize this against the cops, if she could have separated her vendetta from the cops that showed up that day, she may never have been arrested or taken out of her car that day. And then she would have had less anger, and there never would have been the shooting where she got killed, like with a kid present on her lap or right next to her. She gets killed in front of her kid because she's just so out of control, not managing her anger. She needed anger management. That, not to say she didn't have a right to be angry, but she was so angry, it consumed her. She was not making good choices for the sake of her livelihood, her freedom to stay out of jail, to live for her kids. She was reckless. Okay, and if y'all take this story and all you hear is, yeah, another black person targeted, like, no. She made a lot of mistakes, Korryn Gaines. And part of the root of her mistakes was not managing her anger. If she could have let go, things could have worked out. You can get your point across better when you don't let your anger take control, and then people can point the finger. She made it easy for the cops. Because if the cops did have something against her, she gave them a reason to fucking target her and do whatever they did, to arrest her that day in the car, to then come and have warrants for her arrest the day she got killed. If you have a problem and you want to win your point, okay, there are ways to go about it. So she personalized shit. And what I fear is, with all these stories in the media right now, that these race issue stories and this black versus white and Black Lives Matters going on, and a lot of everything going on, Freddie Gray, Trayvon, Texas shootings. It's every day now. And this is yet one more story where y'all say, like, yup, here we go again. Here we go again. Like, separate. Each story is different. And y'all need to realize that. And that's why I'm trying to tackle this. Because I feel like I'm the guy that can, like, call each layer of the story for what it is. This is, even though this is black and white, and black versus white is like kind of like that thin ice, thin line topic, the complicated nature of this is far from black and white. And there are things that are wrong with white people and responses by black people that I think are wrong. And so, like, this particular story with Korryn Gaines, I'm not tackling the Freddie Gray, I'm not tackling other. This is just Korryn Gaines specifically, and then as it relates to the biggest macro picture and story. So I feel like I'm the guy to touch on each layer and, like, really call it out for what it is in, like, a way that's neutral. And when you're in neutral, like I feel like I am, you can then get fairly opinionated on each layer of the story, but to never, like, take one side. You need a guy like me that's not taking sides. I'm just the reporter of the story. Okay, so please realize that. I love everyone. Whites, blacks, Hispanics, Indians, Muslims. I love everyone. So never think I'm trying to be racist, even though I'm tackling a heated race issue. And that is relevant. That is going on in our society. It may be even a bigger problem than our war against ISIS. Okay, and the age of terror and the war against terrorism is the race issue in our country. So I want to point out a story like this. Like, don't let Korryn Gaines die in vain. She can stand for something, but don't take this story and be like, here we go again. Because she was looking for this. She may not have been originally looking for it, but once she had her anger, she didn't manage it. She had a vendetta with the police, the government, and at that point, she was not living by the rules of society. She had her belief system, and she wasn't going to raise her kids to go by that, and she wasn't going to go by herself as an example, because her kids are going to look at her. She was going to teach them something different. And now she has taught her kids that they just lost their mother. And in that car, wants to tell the kid that's on video, he's going to watch it when he's 15 years old. He's going to watch it when he's 20.